Hello, Kobilis, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I, Maldhound, known yeller, known hater, will lovingly talk to you about your deck's PP and why it looks so weird. Your PP is your premise and your practicum. The premise is the idea behind your deck. It's what you want it to do. It's what it would do if you drew the perfect 7. Your practicum is the 99. Can it produce a perfect 7? What play patterns crop up because of all the pet cards you put in? So for this deck, the idea is pretty straightforward. It's just a Jin Sakai commander deck, and it lacks Rizz. So from an idea standpoint, which is what we're going to work on first, Jin Sakai is a bit Rizzless, and it's really important that we understand that. He is a very cool mechanical commander. He does not have a big over-the-top build-around. In bracket 2, bracket 3, this is what many people want to do. They want the big flashy play. Jin Sakai does not have that. You can try to force it upon him by Voltroning him. I see we have a little bit of that already. Whether you're doing it with auras, whether you're doing it with equipments, the closest thing you can get to a big flashy play is like, oh look, my commander's unblockable, and oh look, he's now a hentai demon. Past that, I don't even love that too much, but past that, that's really all you get. Where the Rizz is located for me in this commander, like on the anatomy of a commander, where the Rizzmatism's happening, is you can use really bad cards to beat really good decks. Because saboteur effects go from not quite good enough to holy shit, that's incredibly good when you combine them with Jin Sakai in high brackets. So, my first recommendation, because like we have saboteurs, we have some funny haha, we have some counter spells. Yeah, okay, buddy. We have a pile of generically good creatures. Hell yeah. Okay. Hell yeah until here. We have some draw. Like, this looks to be a deck that's probably just broadly well built. I would say if you want to keep the deck, being broadly well built, broadly effective, the way you are going to get Rizz and fulfillment out of it is you're going to have to bring it into, like, I think this is built for bracket technically 3 because we have farewell. Bring it a bracket above where you intend to play it. That's Rizz. That's what I want out of Jin Sakai. I want to look at all the combo players in the face and be like, "Oh yeah, you have Thoracle Consult. I have Shadow Mage Infiltrator, buddy. Get ready." That's where the fun is for me. If you don't want to do that, let's just start looking at what are big flashy things we can do with Jin Sakai, because we're working with combat damage. I don't think it's particularly like big or funny or flashy to just kill people like Primal Odin. Like, we could put in Phage, but Phage is just like stone cold good card in this deck. The things I'm thinking of, like, this is some really stupid dog shit. Oh boy. on combat damage, we get to exchange control of 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Come on, that's a little bit funny. I don't know your opinion on Ninja Turtles. Let me see if anything goes for the improvements. Put this idiot in there. This is the path that we go down for. I want to stay in bracket 2, or I want to stay at the bottom of bracket 3, and I want the deck to just like be funnier, because most of what the commander is providing is like, oh, I'm going to draw cards very reliably, and I'm going to get combat damage very reliably. It's difficult to make drawing cards funny. I've tried to do it my entire life. Nobody ever laughs. We can make combat damage a little bit funny. So there's this. It's really going to be the saboteur effects. We have to be somewhere in the saboteur category. I am, once again, going to plug my beloved Sphinx Ambassador. Please, God, that's funny combat damage. But that's really the only place we have to work. So if you don't want to work there, then I would say you're probably going to have to generate Rizz by playing a bracket above where you wanted to play. So who else do we have that's not just good, but is a little bit goofy? Hmm. We could do a little more theft. My worry is we can't really, like, I can't just throw a bunch of 7 mana dumbasses at you, because if I do that, like, the curve of the deck is going to be ruined instantaneously. I don't think we're ramping in this deck, are we? No, good on you. I love that. Yeah, there's Necropolis Regent, who's also, like, not even funny. Uh, I mean, like, Barrogoyf's a good card for you to help us grab our others. Like, this is just, again, stone cold normal shit. That's the problem with Jin Sakai, is he's a big fan of stone cold normal shit. If we bring Squall in, I think we end up at basically just another Squall deck. I hate to say it, Spider-Man's really bailing you out here. Spider-Man is really the home of, like, yeah, that's a kind of funny over the top thing we can do in Jin Sakai. It's like, all right, what if I had 8 Dimir cut purses? What if the entire table had to discard their entire hand and I drew 7 every time I went to the combat step? But again, that's only funny if we do it to a bracket 4 player. It's not funny to do that to, like, I don't know, Jonathan Basic Land, who's trying to ramp to Gishath but doesn't understand how to build a ramp curve. Like, the type of stuff the type of over the top stuff that Jin Sakai can do is only funny when you're doing it to other really good decks. He doesn't have, like, this is a bad thing that is funny to do to other bad decks. Anything Jin Sakai can do to other bad decks just feels like bullying. If you I mean, gosh, we can load up, we can do some cipher cards. This is back on the track of, like, we're going to do bad, like, really bad things that could still work at bracket 2, bracket 3. Um, it's just so mana hungry. And that's going to be a persistent problem with anything cute we can give you. Anything that's going to be like the really funny on hit stuff is probably going to be mana hungry. And, like, we can arcane heist. It's not nothing. You could do rogue class. This is still mana hungry, but it's at least mana hungry in parts. It doesn't demand a, like, fucking 8 mana down payment. This is more really bad theft, but there is potential here. Thada Adele is probably the best one that can fit right into what the deck's already doing. This allows you to take everybody else's soul rings. You can do it at 3 mana. You can look through their deck and, like, steal a combo piece, which is, again, phenomenal Rizz at bracket 4, horrific bullying at bracket 2. Kind of the through line of everything we're going to be doing here. Depending on, I mean, depending on your rogue count, Una's Blackguard might be good, but that's just another, like, stone cold normal guy. Hmm. I don't really want to do security bypass. There's a very fine balance here where if I recommend, like, all the stuff that is really fun is really expensive. All the stuff that is not expensive and has some type of synergy, like security bypass, which would cover unblockability, allowing you to pick double strike every time, and you could double connive every combat. That's a fun little synergy. It's also incredibly top heavy. It's very easy for you to just fucking lose the game because you used, like, You know, oh, I put it on Doughty Voidwalker and then somebody used removal and I got fucking 2 for 1. That's the inherent problem. So I do think to at least firm up a lot of the advice I'm giving you here, we are going to have to be operating in like 2 tracks. One track is okay, here are deeper synergies you can do to like trigger max, to touch more cards, to do a funnier over the top thing. And here is like card that is good and solid and would be useful for trying to play with this commander into higher power decks where you get your Rizz from overcoming them while being at a deficit. I think Thada Adel falls into that. I think Barogoyf falls into that. I think over the top weak things are like Imposter Syndrome, Sphinx Ambassador, Lord of the Void. I haven't checked your rogue count, but Una's black card would be very, very potent into higher power tables depending on where we're at here. We are at 3. Never mind. Rogue class, also in the low power track. Arcane Heist, Stolen Identity, all in the low power track. So Thada Adel and Barogoyf are 2 useful saboteurs. And really, if we want to bring this up to higher power, I would be dropping from the random utility creature section, Gogo, Kamiz, Pippin. Nah. Gogo, Kamiz, Roaming Throne. Regalia. At minimum. You can probably play around with a few more, but like Gilded Drake, good. Doughty Voidwalker, good. Luminous Broodmoth, quite good if you get board wiped. Phyrexian Metamorph, hard to argue with. Protection, good. Then these are all mostly fine. I would say Night's Whisper is definitely... Oh, you have Staggering Insight already. Wonderful. I'd say Night's Whisper, pretty spiritually defeatist. At any point, in terms of like where Commander is right now, in terms of power level, if you ever try to slide the humble Night's Whisper into a deck, just understand that's you waking up at 5 a.m. needing to pee and going, I could hold it. You're putting a lot on faith, is all I'm saying. So that's another potential slot. I think Dark Confidant, Caustic Bronco, all fine. This could... I mean, this guy could very easily just be Gix for 1 less mana, and then you have a big over-the-top thing. Ugh, I love Fishing Gear. Fishing Gear is very, very funny. So yeah, okay. I'm kind of getting the hang of it now. Right now, it seems like we're kind of halfway between... Okay, I have these pretty solid saboteurs. I have just some good stuff, and then I have some funny stuff. I think there are 2 decks you can break out here. One that is just the good stuff, and the Rizz is like, oh, you needed how many game changers to do that? I'm sorry, I need 1 draft uncommon. Me and my boy are infiltrating. Your purse? Slash to ribbons, I fear. And then we can even have like, we can have more of these. You could look into a rogues package for Una's Blackguard. Even as I say that, you probably don't get enough rogues to make it work, but you could lean more into really, really hateful saboteurs like Cephalid Constable. And then you're going like, okay, you have Rhystic Study, Smothering Tithe, Force of Will. I have a 3-mana 1/1. Somehow, I'm going to beat you. And that's where you get that Rizz. And then the other version... Instead of having like Luminous Broodmoth, Gogo, Gilded Drake, you're like, fuck yeah, I put Stolen Identity on a... on who? I put Stolen Identity on Tiny Bones. Now I get more theft per theft, and I make additional Mist Syndicate Nagas. Your move, Jack. And we roll like Imposter Syndrome, Lord of the Void, Sphinx Ambassador. Maybe not all these guys. They're all so much mana. Either version, Thada Adel spun. Either version, Barogoyf is useful. It's probably worth chucking like a Savine's Reclamation into either version of the deck as well, because that has flashback, and most of your stuff can get hit. Can we do anything else though? This is knights. I mean, Dragon Lord Ojutai is another like fucking. He's fine, right? I'm thinking here for the lower power version of the deck. What are cards that don't really see play? Can we make them good enough to be worth playing? So we might be able to, double strike. Hey, hold on, double strike. You basically get to cast Telling Time twice, brother. Think about that. Think about that. That at minimum has, I think, a little bit more motion than Roaming Throne. When I think about Rizz at lower power tables, and I'm only explaining this so that if you disagree with me, you can know, or so that we can have a basis for the disagreement rather than me being like, this is the objective reality, and you being like, why is this guy saying a bunch of dumb shit? When I think about Rizz at lower power tables, what I think about is playing a card that does not seem obviously good, is not known in the zeitgeist as a very powerful card, is not talked about all over social media as a really powerful card, or when they first examine it, does not necessarily look that scary. But then when they watch it play, they go, oh, that's actually really fucking good. And Dragon Lord Ojutai kind of fits that for your deck. He's 5 mana, which is way too fucking much. But if you swing Ojutai with your commander, you get the 2 best cards out of the top 6 cards in your deck. It's free stock up plus every turn. That does require you to be a good actor. It requires you to like really play up how hard you're Ojutaiing all over it. And it's going to be a little bit desperate. I'll totally level with you. To make a commander like Jin Sakai seem like he has Rizz. But that is one of the angles you have to go down. You have to go down these like bad, lesser played saboteur effects. And then whenever you trigger them, be like, I'm king of the fucking world. So let's see if there's any others that we can grab. Holy shit, dungeons, bro. Wait. Hear me. But this is where you could inject some Rizz, particularly if you want to be playing at lower power tables. Like you drop Roaming Throne, I sleep. You drop Midnight Pathlighter and venture into the dungeon. Maximum 6. You're never getting 6 because for 6 you have to be double striking at each player and they have to already not be blocked. But venture into the dungeon 6 times? That's fucking dumb. Then we have Miss Stinkfinger herself. You could get like a pseudo fairy type deck going on. We've passed by a number of fairy creature type synergies. Do we have any other just straight idiots? Oh, they're all just so normal. They're all just so goddamn normal, man. You could try to play the Attempts game. I think that requires a bit more deck reconstruction than you want to do for this type of thing. But Attempts is another like, okay, people don't win with this often. Jin Sakai can help. Our saboteurs can help because we're going to have a really, really full hand. Do we even... and we like can do it. So maybe after an injection of a couple other of these cards at the expense of some of the more generically good cards, you could be kind of angling for this, like, okay, I have 5 or 6 different over-the-top big mana plays. One of them's a Tempest, one of them is Sphinx Ambassador, one of them's Lord of the Void, one of them's Imposter Syndroming my entire board. And then you can start playing around on axes of the game that people are not totally expecting. And maybe that can create the Rizz you want. But if none of those things that I have outlined sound very fun for you, then actually what you need to do is you need to try to move this to bracket 4 with as few game changers as possible. And you want to be more in on disruptive saboteurs. So saboteurs that are making them discard things, saboteurs that are bouncing things back to their hand, saboteurs that are letting you kill their creatures, kill their permanents, things like Thada Adel, steal their combo pieces. Even steal cards off the top of their deck, because in bracket 4, everything you're stealing is probably important to the deck's functionality. So those are the 2 paths before you. Whichever one you take, I wish you the best of luck. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and I hope this helped.